College motherfuckers think y'all run everything. Motherfucker. What? Motherfucker. You owe me some money, motherfucker. What you motherfuckers talking about? Motherfucker, I eat everything. I eat the pussy, I eat the butt, I eat every motherfucking thing. Motherfucker, I'll chew his ass up. Motherfucker. You a smart motherfucker. English, motherfucker. Motherfucker. We're not gonna store the motherfucker. I'm on the motherfucker. I'm a mushroom cloud laying motherfucker. Ha. You're closed, motherfucker. Sewer rat may taste like pumpkin pie, but I never know because I wouldn't eat the filthy motherfucker. Motherfucker. It's the one that says bad motherfucker. That's my...
If you want to know why critical race theory exists, the actual law school theory that emphasizes that supposedly colorblind laws in America often still have racially discriminatory outcomes, then look no further than the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse. Earlier today, the teenager accused of murdering 2 men and wounding a third in Kenosha, Wisconsin last year, took to the stand in his own defense. And the circumstances are almost built for an actual CRT course. The white, now 18-year-old, faces an almost entirely white jury of his peers, with the exception of one black man. And then there's Judge Bruce Schrader, who has barred the prosecution from calling the people Rittenhouse killed victims. He's barred the prosecution from introducing evidence of Rittenhouse posing with the Proud Boys while flashing white supremacist signs, and denied the prosecution's request to increase Rittenhouse's bail after he failed to notify the court of his changed address, which he was required to do. In fact, the prosecution has been repeatedly hamstrung by the judge at almost every turn. Into all that stepped Rittenhouse himself today, giving the jury his best sweet, innocent teen, while describing the moment before he shot and killed Joseph Rosenbaum with a semi-automatic rifle.
I look over my shoulder and Mr. Rosenbaum was now running from my right side. And I was cornered from in front of me with Mr. Ziminski, and there were three people right there.
Take a deep breath, Kyle.
At one point, Rittenhouse claimed that the initial victim used threatening language that he did not want to repeat, even though he had been caught on camera flashing a white power hand gesture.
He was screaming. He said, "I'm going to cut your hearts out and kill." I'm not going to repeat the second word, but kill you and words.
During cross-examination, Judge Schrader berated the prosecutor, at times yelling at him, for questioning Rittenhouse about whether it was appropriate to use deadly force to protect property. The judge then accused the lead prosecutor, Thomas Binger, of improperly trying to introduce testimony. An hour later, the defense requested a mistrial with prejudice, meaning no retrial, claiming that the prosecution was attempting to provoke a mistrial. The judge took it under advisement after admonishing the prosecution once again. Joining me now is Paul Butler, former federal prosecutor and Georgetown law professor. Paul, I feel like I was having flashbacks to the George Zimmerman trial, right? I mean, everything from Kyle Rittenhouse using sort of cop speak about trying to stop the threat, saying this sort of really dramatic thing that the person he shot supposedly said that sounded like a gangster movie, you know, and then this whole thing of, you know, the whole breaking down and dry heaving in court. That was one thing that we didn't see from Zimmerman, but, you know, making himself the victim and sort of making himself seem more innocent, which the Zimmerman trial also featured. And the judge was sort of almost like it was his dad. Like, you know, I don't think I've ever, I mean, since the Zimmerman trial, I haven't seen anything like it, but it feels very similar to me. What did you see today?
Joy, today the jurors saw what must be the greatest performance of Kyle Rittenhouse's life. he was well prepared by his defense attorneys to disrupt his image as a trigger-happy vigilante who went on a shooting rampage at a Black Lives Matter protest. On the stand, he was polite and deliberate. When Rittenhouse got emotional, it may have come across to the jury as a genuine expression of remorse, or on the other hand, maybe it was crocodile tears designed to elicit sympathy. But with the help of the judge, Rittenhouse did avoid most of the risks that defendants incur when they take the stand. He probably advanced his own defense in front of the jury.
Well, I mean, because if you really do get a jury of your peers, right? He's a 18-year-old now. He's a teenager. You know, the defense has really been managed to construct a jury that could be his uncles and aunts and his parents, right? Where they can look at him and see perhaps their own son. And that was what it felt like his testimony was designed to do today, to take away all of the stuff about him throwing the white power sign and posing with the Proud Boys and jumping, you know, not telling where he was living when he was supposed to. All that other stuff, even in the things that were interesting were when the jury was not present. All the times that the judge was literally berating the prosecutor, saying he couldn't bring in evidence that spoke to perhaps Kyle Rittenhouse, saying he wanted to hurt people or use it. I mean, it was clear. Was it as clear to you as it was to me that this judge has already decided that Kyle Rittenhouse was in the right here?
Well, it's clear that the defense wants the jury to look at Rittenhouse as a Boy Scout who was just in Kenosha to render aid, and earlier it helped scrub graffiti off of churches. And most of the judge's rulings have favored the defense and that portrait. So the judge barred evidence that on a previous occasion, Rittenhouse beat up a teenage girl. That's on video. The judge won't let the jury know that before this episode, Rittenhouse saw some people he thought were shoplifting at a CVS, and he said, man, I wish I could shoot those people. The judge won't let the jury know about that. On the bench, he yells at the prosecutors. Some of the judge's rulings are consistent with how he handles other cases, but we know in this case, conservatives like Donald Trump have made Rittenhouse a martyr, and they're concerned that the judge's rulings and his emotional outbursts against the prosecutor are steering the jury towards an acquittal.
Yeah, I mean, that's what, I mean, he's charged with so many things. First degree reckless homicide, recklessly endangering safety. I wouldn't even tell you all this because it doesn't feel like a conviction is coming on any of it. Let me play one more thing that Rittenhouse said that I cannot believe a black or brown kid ever getting away with saying. Here he is talking about why he wanted an AR-15 in particular.
You didn't pick out the AR-15 for any other reason?
I thought it looked cool, but no.
You didn't pick it out because you wanted to go hunting with it, did you?
No.
You didn't pick it out because you were going to use it to protect your house, correct?
Correct.
You picked it out because it looked cool.
I thought it looked cool.
Dream with me, Paul. Could any child of color, young person of color, ever do that on a stand and get away with it?
You already know, Joy. Of course not. This is white privilege on steroids. Rittenhouse testified that after he shot all of these people, he approached the cops and told them that he'd been involved in a shooting. And the officers told him, be careful so that you don't get pepper sprayed and go home. It's impossible to imagine that happening to a black or brown person. They would have been in handcuffs if they were lucky enough to survive that kind of encounter with cops.
Let me just remind people of the names of the victims. Joseph Rosenbaum, who was 36 years old. Anthony Huber, who was 26. Gage Grosskreutz, who's only 27 years old, was injured. These are the victims. These are the people that people ought to remember are the people who were hurt here, not the person who was crying on the stand today. Paul Butler, thank you very much, my friend. Up next.
Kyle Rittenhouse was just 17 years old when he drove across state lines to Kenosha, Wisconsin, with an illegally obtained military-style assault rifle. He shot and he killed two men, Joseph Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber. He wounded another, Gage Grosskreutz. This happened in the summer of 2020 in the middle of protests in Kenosha of police violence. A black man who had been shot by a police officer. And Rittenhouse traveled 20 miles from his home to wade into the protests and indeed the unrest and property damage and violence that had grown up around them. And he wound up using that semi-automatic gun to end the lives of 2 people, which is what landed Rittenhouse on trial for homicide and on the witness stand in that trial again. Again, Rittenhouse was 17 when he killed those 2 men, not old enough to smoke a cigarette, have a beer. In many ways, including in the eyes of the law, he was still a child, a minor. He is being tried as an adult due to the severity of the crimes he is charged with. But I think to most sensible people, at least I would hope, the image of a child, high schooler, carrying a deadly weapon designed for war doesn't inspire confidence about the wise, judicious use of that weapon, about good decisions being made. Just listen to Rittenhouse today admit that he mostly just liked the way the gun looked.
You didn't pick out the AR-15 for any other reason?
I thought it looked cool, but no.
You didn't pick it out because you wanted to go hunting with it, did you?
No.
You didn't pick it out because you were going to use it to protect your house, correct?
Correct.
You picked it out because it looked cool.
I thought it looked cool.
Looked cool. That cool thing ended the lives of 2 people. Teenagers do a lot of things because they look cool. A lot of them aren't good. Hearing that, it is difficult not to be reminded of one of the greatest tragedies in recent American history, when 22 years ago, 2 high schoolers, the same age, essentially, as Kyle Rittenhouse, 17, one 18, who also thought guns were cool.